The part 2 of inverse trig functions, and we're going to take a look at a little bit more challenging type of questions for us, and these aren't going to be too bad for us. So the first thing we want to notice is they want us to determine if we're looking for a value or an angle, and that's pretty easy to tell by looking at just the outside part. This is the sign of something. Now, generally speaking, when you look for the sign of something, you're going to get a value. Unlike number 2, where it says the arc secant of something, and that, of course, is the secant. That, of course, is the opposite of not looking for a value, so here we're going to get an angle. So for this one, number 1 is pretty easy. We've already done this before. This is just working with the inside, same thing as always. This gives me my triangle. Remember, this is saying the cosine of some angle theta is 1/2. So if we draw our right triangle, the cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which gives me a side length here of square root of 3. Looking at the sine of that angle, it's the opposite, the square root of 3 over 2. And then we are done. Alright, now for number 2, we're looking for the arc secant of the secant. So a little bit different. Here, we're on the inside, we got to look for the secant of an angle. So that's pretty easy to do. We're going to look for the secant of negative pi over 4. Well, we don't necessarily know secant, but we should know cosine, right? And remember, this is really saying the cosine of negative pi over 4. That's in the 4th quadrant, and of course the cosine there is root 2 over 2. And because I'm looking for the secant, therefore my secant of negative pi over 4 will equal 2 over root 2. So that's the inside. And now we got to do the outside. We want the arc secant of 2 over root 2. And now we're looking for which angle gives us this. And we should already know that. This is, oh look, it's the same thing here. It's going to be our pi over 4. And there's our answer. Now, it's actually going to be the same thing as the other one up here, which we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Because remember, actually, so, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But right now, if you put pi over 4, you're doing okay. All right. Number 3, this is saying the sine of 5 pi. So again, we're going to get an angle here. So we're looking at the sine of 5 pi. So not too hard to do. Just got to find out kind of where that is. There's 1 pi, remember, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi. So it's going to have the same value as sine of pi. So we're looking at the inverse tangent of, and of course the sine of pi is 0. Now, we're now asking, well, what angle has this? So we're saying basically the tangent of what angle is 0. And we should know that one. We have a couple of answers for us. One, this is, remember, the x value is going to be 0, y value is going to be 0, which is going to be 0, pi, and 2 pi. We have a few answers right there. So, but remember, tangent's only positive. We're only going to look from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So that's going to cancel out pi and 2 pi, so we get theta is just 0. Don't forget about your domains here. Alright. Down below again, oh look, we're looking for another angle. Okay, so I asked the cosine of 5 pi over 4, we should know that one. So working on the inside, the cosine of 5 pi over 4 is root 2 over 2, and because we're in the 2nd quadrant, it's going to make that negative. So now we're saying the sine of what angle is root 2 over 2. So I like to rewrite this as just the sine of some angle equals negative root 2 over 2. And we again get two answers. We're going to get 5 pi over 4, of course, for one of them. And, of course, in the 4th quadrant, 7 pi over 4. Now this is kind of a tricky one here. Remember, for sine, we want to limit it to the 1st and 4th quadrant, from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Well, we automatically know that's not going to work because that's in quadrant 3. So we can't use that one. But the 7 pi over 4 we can use. And you can leave your answer as 7 pi over 4, but we should write it as its 4th quadrant component in negatives. This is negative pi over 4 in the 4th quadrant. Number 5, well, thank goodness, an easy one. We're looking for the value. We're looking for the value here. And we just draw our triangle on the inside. Remember, this is saying the cosine of some angle is the square root of 3 over 4. So if I draw out my right triangle, it's the square root of 3, 4. This is going to be the square root of 13. Looking for the sine of that angle, we get the square root of 13 over 4. And there's our answer. Right. Number 6, again, thank goodness, we're looking for the value. So this is, again, looking at the inside, the sine of some angle is 1 over square root of 2. So if I draw out my triangle, there's my angle. It's the 1 over root 2, so this becomes square root of 3. Using Pythagorean theorem, we get the tangent of our angle becomes the adjacent over the hypotenuse, 1 over square root of 3. All right, try a few of these tonight. You're going to have some practice in class tomorrow, and we'll go over some questions, hopefully. Okay? Thank you.